This episode is for the woman out there who constantly feels like she is never measuring up. You feel like you are just pushing all the time and you're grinding all the time. You feel like you're burned out. You feel overwhelmed. And this could be really for any woman out there, but I want the 20-year-olds out there who are listening to this podcast to pay attention because I know that you are struggling. I know that it is hard, whether you are doing an internship because you're just finishing college or you're in graduate school and you have an internship, you have an apartment you have to keep up. You're trying to keep up with your friends, maintaining friendships, maintaining maybe a romantic relationship. And you might have to have a job as well in order to pay for all of your expenses. And you just feel like it's this hamster wheel, it's a rat race, it's a grind. You get up in the morning, get ready for your job or your internship. And then you go do that. You have to go grocery shopping because you don't live at home anymore. So you have to be an adult now and do your laundry, clean your apartment. Just try to find some time to have some balance, have some fun. Almost seems impossible because either you're exhausted from being burned out and you don't have any energy for socializing and you're just like, I can't do it. You don't have the time, you don't have the energy, but then also you just don't even have the time. Where do you fit in friends with all that you have going on? And you're trying so hard to manage your time as well as you can. So if you are in your 20s, I want you to listen because I'm not saying that I have answers, but I want you to heed the warning. And if you are older, you know what I'm talking about. You've been doing this for a long time and you're still struggling, you're still suffering, and you're like, what the heck? So, anyway, I'm Kim Gross, and I'm the host of Masks Off for People Pleasers and Perfectionists. And I am a recovering perfectionist, recovering people pleaser. And I know these patterns very intimately. And so, what I want to talk about is first the issue, the prison, the mental prison that we live in, and then a couple of things you can do to help manage this. I'm not saying there's necessarily an answer to burnout, overwhelm, grind, toxic overachievement, perfectionism, hustle. I don't know because it's almost like society has set us up in the sense that we are conditioned to go to school, many go to college, and then try to get a good paying job. We live in a very materialistic culture where having things and doing things is something we all value. I value it. I have a nice house, I have a nice car, clothes. I like to be able to have comforts when I travel. I like to stay in nice hotels. If I can fly first class, I like to fly first class. Now, I'm going to be honest and I'm going to take off my mask. I am fortunate that I do not have to be the breadwinner. I chose to be a stay-at-home mom. And my husband, during those years, he built a business and does really well. So I didn't have to go back to work when when my kids were old enough and on their own. I do still have an appreciation for how challenging and how difficult it is because I can see with my own two kids who are now 26 and 23 the challenge is real. Everything costs so much money. Groceries are crazy. The cost for gas is really crazy. You go out to dinner with a friend, and if you have even a drink, you're spending so much money going out with friends. It's really super expensive to do everything. It's just expensive to live. And if you're not making a ton of money, if you're in your 20s and you're just starting in your career, you're just starting to get a job, how many of you are making a ton of money? So that's a struggle right there. You're set up to have to keep pushing, because if you're going to keep up with the things that you want in your life, which, you know, could just be that you want to have the apartment, you want to be able to do things, have a career. In order to get that career that pays well, you have to go to college and probably graduate school. It's just really, like I said, such a catch-22. We're set up because if you don't get a good paying job, you might have to work 2 or 3 jobs to live on your own, or move back home, or you have a lot of credit card debt, or need roommates. I don't really know the answer to that. And I'm just being honest. I'm not claiming I have a solution for all of that. But what I do know is this: even if you cannot escape the path, the way that you're conditioned, I had one teacher describe it as, we're all going to the slaughterhouse, right? Like the sheep are all being herded to the slaughterhouse. And that's the comparison to how it is for humans. We're all being pushed down this path of career, success, money, money. Those are the things that we strive for. It's so different in our modern world today versus like 100 years ago, where they were just learning, how to survive and living off the land. All of this stuff in our modern life wasn't even on the radar, like cell phones, cars, clothes, restaurants, all the stuff we do today was non-existent at one point. And that's why we're all being herded down this one path. So I don't know the answer to that. I don't know how to change the way society has set us up. But what I want to speak to is the perfectionism, because all that does is adds salt to injury. It makes it that much more difficult when you have this perfectionistic tendency, this perfectionistic pattern that's running the show, which is this inner voice. It's this critical voice that keeps putting more pressure on you. Let's go back to the example of, maybe you are working a job, you're doing an internship, or you're in graduate school, you are trying to have friends, you have a boyfriend, you're trying to see your boyfriend, you have to do the groceries, all the things that I mentioned, and you know that you want to eat healthy, you want to exercise and work out 4 or 5 times a week, let's say, and you want to do all these different things that are healthy for you, but you can't seem to find the time to get the workouts in, or you can't find the energy to cook for yourself because you're so exhausted from grinding all day. So then you just end up using DoorDash and you order food, or you just stop and you get Chick-fil-A or Chipotle and then you eat that, and then you feel like shit, and then you beat yourself up because you didn't do the things that you said you were going to do. You made a plan in your mind that you were going to stay active, you were going to eat healthy and cook, and then you couldn't. You beat yourself up because it was just way too difficult to manage everything, to try to do everything perfectly. Like you're trying to be perfect at your internship. You're trying to be perfect at your job. You're trying to be on time and keep your apartment clean. You're trying to get to the grocery store, all of these things. And you're trying to sleep well. And then your boyfriend wants to hang out and he wants to hang out late. And now you're too tired the next day. And then you blow off doing your laundry. And then your laundry starts to pile up. And then you feel like crap because your laundry's backed up. And now you're beating yourself up with a 2x4 over the head of what is wrong with you. Like you just basically telling yourself that you're shit because you can't do it all and you can't do it all perfectly. And so this is the mental prison that we get stuck in. And number one, I want to just say that it is not your fault that you have this tendency. What I know to be true for people who have perfectionistic tendencies is that it is something that we started to do at a very young age because we needed to feel like we had to protect ourselves. That in some way it wasn't okay to just be our true selves. So we had to start to be perfect. We had to do everything perfectly in order to make the people around us happy with us and to make ourselves feel like we're worthy and that we matter and that we're enough. Because if we can do everything perfectly, then we should be okay. That's such a setup. But our little subconscious minds did not know. We did it unconsciously, subconsciously. And of course, at the age of 8 or 9, you didn't say to yourself, let me see, maybe I'll be a perfectionist and I'll start to wear this perfectionist mask. And that's what's going to help me to survive my life. And I really think that there are so many nuances of the perfection mask, and it can show up in so many subtle and different ways. It's not necessarily just about, oh, your apartment is meticulous or your looks are meticulous and your weight is perfect. Everything looks a certain way. That's certainly part of the perfection mask, but there are so many different nuances to it. And I think that most of us in society wear it. Most of us struggle on some level with perfectionism. It may be a continuum and it may show up differently for different people, but I do believe most of us struggle with it. It's not your fault because you didn't know that you started to take on these perfectionistic tendencies. You probably also have at least one parent, if not two, who have these perfectionistic tendencies. They also wear the perfectionist mask. So it was modeled for you and you also just picked it up that way. So it's not your fault that you show up in life in this way. But I do know that you are suffering because of it, because that relentless pressure to do more, be more, grind, even when you're exhausted, even when you're not feeling well, even when you're just a little bit low, instead of giving yourself a break, you just keep pushing yourself. Let's say you even want to take a nap for, you're exhausted or you don't feel that well. And so you take a nap, but then you might feel such guilt from taking a nap or taking an hour to yourself to just do nothing and watch TV. You can't even rest because in the back of your mind, you're telling yourself that you're wrong for doing it. You're making yourself wrong for being a human being and needing to take a nap. You need rest. You cannot sustain pushing yourself 24/7, 365 without eventually breaking down. So it's just like an analogy of a car. If you keep driving the car and never put fuel in it, you're going to run out of fuel. If you keep pushing, the car is going to die. Also, if you don't change the oil and put good gas in the car isn't going to operate as optimally. So it's the same with our bodies. It's the same with our spirit. If we don't nourish our bodies, if we don't take care of our bodies, if we don't nourish our spirits, we are going to run on fumes and we're just not going to be at our optimal. So, how do you nourish yourself? And I know that this may seem easier said than done. For a perfectionist, it is hard. It's like sometimes you can feel so paralyzed by doing these things and not having your inner controller drive the bus. Your inner controller is the one who is trying to protect you. That's the perfection mask. Your inner controller is the one who's saying, you can't take a nap, or you need to keep working out. You didn't work out today. You didn't work out all of last week. You need to get your ass to the gym because you're going to get fat. And then no one's going to want to date you. Your inner controller is the one who's like, you can't go out of the house without your hair done or your makeup done. What are people going to think? They're going to judge you. And if they judge you, then they're not going to like you. This is how our inner controllers operate.
Hey, it's Kim here, interrupting your regularly scheduled podcast episode to let you know about an opportunity to go deeper into this work. I invite you to head over to Amazon.com and pick up your copy of my book, Free to Be: A Pathway to Inner Liberation. If you are looking to unhook from people pleasing and perfectionistic patterns, if you're looking to have a better way of identifying your patterns and then how you can unhook so you can be free to step outside your comfort zone, free to have more meaningful relationships in your life, free to be your true self without hiding behind a mask any longer. If you desire any of this, then I encourage you to pick up your copy. And if you enjoy my book as much as I loved writing it, please go on over and leave a review on Amazon. You can leave a star review or written review. Now back to your regularly scheduled podcast episode.
For example, I will be honest and say that today I was not at my best. I was feeling very exhausted, very fatigued, low energy. My spirit was not feeling very alive. I could hear that voice all day long, chattering in the back, like, come on, Kim, you've got to do something today. You have to do something. You can't not do anything. It's like, what is wrong with you? So I'm doing my own work on myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it one step at a time today, and I'm going to do one thing at a time and keep listening to what my body needs. I went for a walk earlier. That felt okay. Then I did a few other things. I had a massage today that was taking care of myself, but I ended up feeling even more tired and sleepy after. So I came home and I tried to do some work. I did a couple of little things, and I'm like, nope, I need to go and rest. And so I sat down for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then I said, let me try again, come back to the computer, see if I felt any better. And then I finally sat down and I decided to record this episode, but I didn't feel like I had it in me to put on any makeup or do anything with my hair or put on any jewelry. Normally, when I record, I do that because I like to. But today I was like, no, I'm not feeling it. I could feel the inner voice in me. I could feel my inner controller saying, you can't go and record now. You have no makeup on. You look terrible. Your hair is, you just got out of the shower. But I know that's the part of me that's just trying to keep the perfection mask alive. And it's trying to protect me from, what is it trying to protect me from? The fact that Somebody might see this video and then they might say, oh my God, she looks awful. I can't watch her videos anymore. I can't even stand to see her without makeup on or jewelry on. Is that what I'm afraid of? Is people's judgment. But the truth is, we are, because when we were little and someone judged us for being too ugly, too fat, too loud, too quiet, your clothes are ugly, you smell. Kids are really horrible to one another. They just are really horrible. So we're afraid of that judgment because it hurt. It hurt so badly to be judged that way and to be made fun of. And we were never taught how to deal with those emotions. We never learned. It was just kind of like suck it up, push it down, and find a way to get through and cope. So that's where the inner controller comes in. Okay, I hear you. I'm going to protect you. And you know what? I'm going to make you perfect in every other way so that you can't be hurt, so you can't be judged. And that's what's happening when we're trying to do everything so perfectly, whether you're doing it at your internship or school. Maybe you're trying to get a 4.0. Like, that's great and amazing to get a 4.0. I'm not knocking it. If you can get a 4.0, more power to you. But at the end of the day, how much is it really going to matter if you are stressing yourself out in order to get it and maintain everything else at the same time? It's not going to be worth it, and it's crazy. If you're unable to give yourself some permission, let me back up and say these are the things that I want to offer to you. And I've already kind of shared what I did for myself today to combat my perfectionistic thoughts. My inner controller, my inner critic was trying to push me so much today when I just didn't have it in me to be pushing. I didn't have it in me to grind today. Just couldn't happen. Now, you might be saying, all right, that's all well and good, Kim. You have the opportunity to go get a massage. You have the opportunity to not get in front of the computer. And I hear you on that. You might be saying, I don't have the opportunity to call out from my internship. I can't call out from my job. I need to make money because I have to pay my bills, or I can't call out from class. I have to get all my schoolwork done. Fair enough. I understand. So, what I am suggesting as an antidote to help offset some of this pressure, this grind and hustle, is to, number one, become fully aware. You have to become aware of that pattern, know it intimately, know when you are starting to put the pressure on yourself. Know when that inner dialogue is kicking up. Know what it sounds like when you're being really hard on yourself. So that's the first thing, is being aware of when you're in that state. The second thing is to make sure that you don't go into a place of complaining or resisting. I know firsthand I am in resistance to so many things in my life right now. If you are in resistance to whatever is going on in your life, like, why do I have to have so much going on? Why can't I work out? Why don't I have the energy? If you have any kind of resistance like that, all you're going to do is create more suffering for yourself. That's what the Buddhists call the second arrow. It's already hard enough what you're going through right now. It is difficult to maintain a job, to maintain relationships, to maintain school, to maintain all the things that you have to do, paying your bills, getting your groceries, taking care of your body. It's a lot. And the last thing that you want to do is put more pressure on yourself by beating yourself up for not doing it all perfectly. If you want things to be different and you don't want to suffer and you don't want to feel like a victim, you have to reframe your thoughts. You have to think differently. about the situations in your life. Let me tell you, it is freaking hard. I work at it every day trying to reframe and catch my thoughts. And even that can be exhausting. But if I don't want to suffer, I have to really practice. It's a practice where I can cultivate a way of thinking differently. How is this here to help me? What can I learn from this? How can I adjust this so that I can have more ease in my day? How can I think about my situation differently so that I'm not adding and piling on top of what's already hard? So there's that. Then the next thing is you have to really feel the pain, the wound that is underneath all of this that's making you feel like you have to be so perfect at everything all the time. There is a wound that is there and it needs to be cleaned out because it's infected. As long as the wound is infected, it's going to keep pushing you. It's going to keep making you grind. It's going to keep putting pressure on you and telling you that you're not enough. It's never good enough. You are always falling short. And that wound will keep getting more and more infected. And it's not going to go away. It'll stay with you your whole life if you don't start learning how to clean it out. If you're like, I don't know how to change this, that's what I do every day. I'm more than willing to help guide you on that journey of how to clean out that infected wound. All you have to do is reach out to me. You can go to my website, kimgrosscoaching.com, and you'll find all the ways to connect with me. The next thing is about embracing all the parts. Embracing means just allowing. Like if you want to come more into wholeness, right? Wholeness, when we are in our wholeness and we're being our true selves, that's when we feel alive. And that's when we have more freedom, peace, and more joy. And actually, we can handle a whole lot more and we're a whole lot more energized when we are in a place of wholeness. What makes us feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and burned out with all that we're managing is because we're in this wounded place. We are in this primal state of where our perfectionism is really at play. It's not about being perfect. It's about coming into wholeness. It's about accepting ourselves. Like, even like today, when I couldn't fully operate at my best because I was so fatigued and drained, it's rather than me going to this place of being a perfectionist and saying, what the heck is wrong with you, Kim? You're such a loser. You're just wasting this whole entire day and getting nothing done. You're not being productive at all. If I go to that place, that's coming from perfection. If I want to come into wholeness, I accept that part of me, but I also accept the part of me that couldn't be at her best today. I accept the part of me that just needed to rest. And I didn't get a lot done today. I was not very productive. I didn't check off as many things off my checklist as I wanted to. But being able to just allow myself to be that way and accept allows me to come more into my wholeness. And then when I'm refueled and I replenish my body, my mind, and my spirit, because I know I will come back online. It could be tomorrow, it could be in a couple of days, it could be later tonight, but I will come back and then I can move forward and create the life that I desire and do the things that I want to do for myself. And so the same is true for you. If you are wanting to create this life where you want a particular career because you want to be passionate about what you do and you want to make enough money so that you can have a nice place to live, you want to be able to have, decent car, and you want to be able to have money to travel, and you want to buy things that you'd like to buy for yourself. If you want all that, you will have a much better chance at getting that outcome if you can come more into wholeness and learn to unhook from the perfectionist pattern, because it's the perfectionist pattern that is keeping you stuck in overwhelm, exhaustion. You are mentally, physically, and spiritually exhausted from wearing this mask all the time. I can guarantee it. If you are ready to take that mask off and you want the life that you desire to have all of those things I just mentioned, and you come into wholeness, you can do it with more ease. But as long as you're wearing the perfection mask, you will be exhausted and feel burned out and overwhelmed most of the time. And all you're going to do is wish your life away. You're going to get to a place of, I can't wait until this internship is over. I can't wait until I graduate from graduate school. I can't wait until vacation. I can't wait until the weekend. I'm so exhausted. I can't wait to be done with all this. And so you're wishing your life away because you're trying to avoid how painful it is to be wearing the perfection mask. A weekend or a holiday or even getting really sick is a way to build in an opportunity for you to just rest. But how about if you just gave yourself permission to rest at times? If you learn how to just take off that mask and you don't expect such perfection from yourself, and you do the best that you can do each day and each moment, each task that you're doing, and you just do the best. Like, okay, I'm at internship, do what I can do with internship. Don't expect yourself to be perfect at whatever your skill is. You're there to learn. That's what an internship is, to learn. So try to enjoy learning, or if you're in school, try to enjoy the process of learning and being in the moment. If you hate your job, try to find another one. But if it's an okay job, but you just don't like really love it, you can again reframe. You can reframe. I'm so glad that I have this job to make money to pay for my bills while I finish school and while I'm getting prepared to have the career that I want to have. And so this is just short term. So I'm just going to try to enjoy the people that I'm around or try learning from this job. So see how that is another reframe and takes you out of victimhood when you reframe it that way. Then you're not like, oh, why do I have to do this? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So I know that was a lot, and I hope that it was helpful, because what I want to be able to do is, if you are in your 20s and you're listening, to give you a framework, which is my 5-step power pathway, to help you get on a different path than the one that most of us have been on in our 40s and 50s and beyond. It's a framework so that you can start to become more aware that there are options. There are different ways that you can navigate life. You don't have to follow the same path that your parents went down. My hope is that my kids learn this and they don't follow the same way that both my husband and I did, where it was always about hustle, grind, being productive, burnout, and pushing, pushing, pushing. We learned that from our parents. So somewhere in here, there has to be a paradigm shift. If you are in your 40s, 50s, and beyond, and you have kids of your own, you can really pay attention and help navigate things differently for them, because it's a big deal. We don't want our kids to be suffering in the same way that we did or do. So it's a good opportunity for you as a parent to start having conversations with your kids. It doesn't mean it's going to change overnight, but just talking about it openly and honestly, like, hey, Do you feel like you're burned out? Do you feel like you are overwhelmed and stressed and exhausted all the time? Let's talk about why that is. And then, of course, if this is true, if you're listening and you're experiencing it, then you also have an opportunity to try and change some of these patterns for yourself so that you can have more joy, more freedom in your life. Because it's like we only go down this road once. Why do we want to keep adding insult to injury if there is another way? Now, is this other way easy? No, it's not easy either. It's a lot of work. But I will say that even though it's a lot of work and I continue to work on myself and my patterns, I'd rather it be like that than for me to be absolutely miserable with no way out. All right. Well, that is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Masks Off for People Pleasers and Perfectionists. I truly hope that you found this valuable, and I will see you in the next episode.
Hey, Kim Gross here. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Masks Off for People Pleasers and Perfectionists. I invite you to hop on over to my website, kimgrosscoaching.com. Right there on the front page, there's a quiz for people pleasers and perfectionists. You can find out if you have tendencies. You can also get into my newsletter where you will be given valuable content every week on different topics I share here in the podcast. And if you really did enjoy this episode, if you found it helpful, if you found it valuable, please go to, if you're on YouTube, go and subscribe. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, then I invite you to leave a review. You can even do a star review. It doesn't have to be a written review. If you know of someone who can benefit from this podcast or this particular episode, please share it with them. I'll see you next time.